Good morning and afternoon. Welcome to the panelists, Princess Jehanne, the stylist of Princess Jehanne, and Chiara Tafarello, the creative director and founder of Montayre. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
So over the years, mainstream brands have participated on virtual fashion shows. Not just the bigger brands or more influential brands, but the brands that are like boutiques. So Modest Fashion Vision 2030 is a talk of the day with many brands every day to become an online influencer, some kind of online influencer, because we're all online. So with digital fashion at the end of the spectrum, brands must recognize the importance of sustainable growth and the importance of sustainable standing around the world. So thank you, Modest Fashion Manila and Modest Fashion Production for the Designer Brands Conference. And we welcome the panelists. So thank you for joining us. So we're gonna start with, okay. So Fazeela, she is the founder of Masiha InStyle. Welcome. It's really great to catch up. So firstly, Princess, how was your vision for the brand? And
well,
now you've just celebrated your 10-year anniversary, so 1 decade of your brand since launching in 2011. So how's that been?
behind every brand has a story to tell. Now, my brand was started only as a hobby that turned out into something which I never expected. But I enjoyed for a decade. I really enjoyed styling the hijab of every bride, and of course, knowing that I have helped the Muslim women, even especially the brides, to look beautiful, elegantly beautiful during their wedding days, and less worried because of the headscarf thing during weddings, because it is part of the dress of the women, the headscarf. So of course, my vision is to still continue to share my creative works and to expand. I wish to expand if given a chance to have this kind of hijab thing, which is ready to wear, which can be easily be attached to the headscarf of the women. And if given in opportunity also to practice also the skills that my grandma, I grew up with my grandma who is a local couture in our place. So if given a chance, because I am not only being a hijab stylist, but I am also working as a nurse. So if I can manage my time also to learn more about how to do the fashion designing, it would be a great opportunity for me.
All right. So how about you, Chiara?
Okay, I'm here. So for my side, considering now the situation, the global economic and political situation is a little bit difficult to do a so long plan about investments. So I don't know actually if in 5 or 10 years I will be still here with Montayre or not, but as a collection structure like this. But for sure, as a brand, I will continue to communicate which is the Montayre mission and vision. Because I strongly believe that women are very similar around the world, and so for me this concept, the new concept to communicate is the new normality that include the modest part. So I think there should not be a Western brand or Eastern brand or a modest collection or not modest. In 2023 now, I think it's important to have a global view and a fashion brand, especially for the big ones, they should think about and the global ones, they should think about the solution can be suitable and appreciate from different culture and target. From my point of view, this is the real normality that should be in line with a word with inclusion, uniqueness, and sustainability are the key concept for everyone. And a part of that, as I work also as a freelance, so I design for many other brands in Europe, and I have the opportunity to bring my point of view inside this brand, as I was mentioning you about Arena now, that is the swimwear
Yes.
brand. I try to put the modest package or some pieces in their collection for that can be suitable for any kind of woman as a must-have, because the brands, as I said, like Nike, Adidas, or similar one, cannot be, European with some few pieces that can be modest. They should work thinking about all women. And so I hope to continue this kind of collaboration with my brand Montayre, and also without, just as a simple designer, to try to give to them and to try to help them to have a global vision. This is
All right.
what I'm focusing now.
Great. How about Fazeela?
Well, the vision is actually to go more into brick and mortar, because we are online at the moment, but to have it on both platforms, then you are able to tackle both consumers. You're going to have obviously your online consumers, because there's restrictions when it comes to things like that, so hopefully, well, that is the vision, to actually go into brick mortar and grow it into a point where there's a CMT as well. So that's exactly what I'm looking to do. Have a CMT that's going to also cater to other brands as well. So that's more the expansion that I'm looking for.
Right. So the expansion is more on sustainable growth as well, what Chiara has mentioned. Do you think that there should be more research on modest fashion brands in the academic as well, that can contribute to these growths?
Look, I think when it comes to, going into tertiary institutions, there should be a wholesome view, and all types of fashion should be explored, of course. It's part of the learning, so why only explore one type of industry? Why not just add that? And seeing the growth of the global growth of modest fashion, I would think that it's something that would be beneficial, especially to tertiary institutions, getting into the program, seeing something that is growing and making that work as well, definitely.
Yes. And Princess, you're a bit left out in this because you're the stylist. Do you think that, Chiara needs the stylist that fits the Montayre kind of persona, or Masiayan style does? Because it's really important that stylists have this one vision for each brand, because if we change a lot of stylists, it'll be the brand will change a bit. You think that it's important to have sustainable growth so that the consumers are not confused, if you know what I mean, what kind of brand it is? So do you think so?
Yeah, it is. Surprisingly, nowadays, women across different backgrounds, religions, and even including celebrities, they are getting into modest fashion trends, like in large numbers. And meaning nowadays, women wear clothing that covers up their bodies, even the hair. So it doesn't matter what religion you came from. But the modest fashion nowadays are continue to bubble up. Like, they are not accepting, and they are more on less showing the skin, which is also nice, because you feel some women are very comfortable with it.
Okay. So Chiara, what do you think? are you gonna hire a new stylist for your brand, or is this you now that controls the stylist part?
No, it's just me doing everything. The brand actually is very, very small, even if the awareness of my brand is much bigger than the real brand, because I'm doing a lot of things in terms of communication, but the business actually is very small because I'm selling online, and in the past I was selling just in few other stores or e-commerce, but is really, really very small. So I probably is easier that I will offer my help to you and to the others if they need a designer or a stylist with a global view that is even extra of the modest, not the modest, but not just with this culture and tradition and feeling and view, but can be modest in terms of rules, if I can say rules, but with an European or a global taste and trend. So I offer you my help as a designer or stylist.
Okay, great. How about Fazeela? So Masiha is your daughter, and she may be the stylist, you know?
Right, so she has actually started something on the side, which is more like a thrift store kind of thing, and so she's slowly getting into it as well. So hopefully she gets to take over when she's much older,
Right.
but for now she's doing her own thing on a small scale.
Yeah, because she's your inspiration for your brand, so that's kind of the thing.
100%. Yes, like we said, in the last interview, she is actually the inspiration purely because I really needed it. It was so important that, young girls understand that you have to be confident, especially if you are wearing modest clothing. You don't need to necessarily be out there and, dressing immodestly. There's nothing wrong. Everybody has a choice, of course, but we have a problem where girls that will dress modestly, they don't feel as pretty. They feel like not looking a certain way, so obviously people are not going to find me attractive or whatever it is. Firstly, they get the confidence in themselves to know that doesn't matter what anyone else says, and secondly, you can look good when you're dressing modestly. And that is the reason why I think it's so important that brands like modest brands should grow in not just supplying abayas. That's not the only way to look modest. You can have a beautiful dress and still look modest. You can have a two-piece outfits and still look modest and beautiful at the same time. So I think the industry is growing from just being an abaya industry or wearing a jilbab. It's moving away from that, but still keeping modesty intact, which is really, really important, because it makes this new generation feel like, what, I'm looking trendy, I'm looking good, I'm still keeping in times, but I'm also covered up at the same time. So that's what I love about, the growing industry, is that there's so many new designers coming in and they have this concept nailed down to the T. So I love that about it.
Yes, and I really want to say something. I really think that modest fashion vision should be more on, yeah, of course, modest fashion, because it's really practical to show on screen a lot of fabric, a lot of long sleeves, because you're not going outside when it's hot. So it's really it can sell. That's what modest fashion vision 2030 is. And as more people trying to change trends, do you agree that next time more people will be more modest than today, for example? So, Princess?
Well, yes. You know what? Muslims are making more effort to show a variety of unique ways on how to style their hijab, and then that would complement their outfit, like wearing in a modest outfit, but they still have this. If you can see in the internet, women are more of very creative and call this posting pictures showing their how they style their hijab, which actually helps also to empower women, as well as it also encourages women to look still beautiful even you are dressed modestly.
All right. Chiara?
Yes, I totally agree. This is my mission, is to show that there is no, rules or modest is a kind of a way to be feminine. So there is who prefer to show more the body, and who prefer to cover it. And so I mean, this is linked, of course, with the culture and with the faiths and everything, but not just for that. Because if, for example, okay, I don't cover my hair, but if I'm feeling more comfortable to be, more modest, I can be from everywhere, and I can wear any color, any kind of print, any cut, and be exactly modest, same as all of you. So I think you can be super mega trendy and modest, or so there is no limit. Yeah, I strongly believe that. Especially now that there is this kind of global trend of oversized fit, of a gender, and where even a lot of women, even if they are young, they don't like, to show too much the body and be too much sexy, but they prefer to look unisex and wear more masculine clothes. This is actually their way to be modest. Of course, is a moment trend probably, but I think can be also the personal taste of anyone.
Yes, but your brand is more catered to the modest fashion space. So you're a bit encouraging women that, having more clothing, you can be stylish as well. Is that true as well?
Yeah. Even if Munamer started as just full cover swimwear, then I evolved in the new collection with the mix and match concept. Into a brand that can be for everyone. So I do from bikini to burkini, and you can picking the single pieces and mixing, covering as much as you want. So if you would like to have just, the long sleeve body, you can use just this part, or then use the pareo, or add the leggings, or add the cover. And so it's very flexible. And I think it's important that a woman can find in the same collection and package something that is, like a bikini and then a burkini with the same kind of print and taste, to feel exactly the same as the other woman. And so there is no different. I always say this example for to talk about a brand that not should be, but when I talk about Victoria's Secret, for example, about the lingerie,
Okay,
no
that's an
one
extreme example.
if you go, no, but if you go into Victoria's Secret store, you know that you go to buy something that is feminine, and so no one will look if you bought a bra or a tunic, or I mean the dimension of your garments, or if you decide to buy something that cover more yourself or less yourself. It's a brand that is feminine, that's it. Then you can choose the piece that make you feel more confident with your body. And so this is, I would like to be offer something for every woman.
Right. So modest fashion vision is about offering something to every woman. You don't have to meet those kind of standards, but for example, the opposite gender wants you to, for example.
No, okay, but I mean, don't because I don't like too much, to mark this is only modest, this is only not modest, and so if you're a global brand, you have to think about as you do a long sleeve, you do short sleeve, you do head cover, you do something that can be suitable for everyone.
Yes, that is
So
I think
modern
something
thinking.
important, what that Chiara just mentioned,
Yes,
is
Fazeela.
having a brand that is obviously catering to everybody. Chiara is right with that, because remember, when it comes, especially with dressing modestly, you're dressing modestly when you are outside. You also need to dress a certain way when you are inside. If you feel like wearing something that's sleeveless in the house, it's okay. That is fine. So, having a brand like Chiara's who's going to offer both is actually an excellent thing, because when you walk into her store, or you go onto her e-commerce, you can go to her brand and say, okay, you know what, I do want something with long sleeves, or I do, like she said, she has the burkini and the bikini. So even if you purchase both, your burkini, if you're on a public beach, you're going to use it. And you know that if you, for example, you rent out a villa or an enclosed private area and you feel you want to wear your bikini, that's fine, because no one else on the outside is seeing you. So I love the fact that her brand offers both, because you need that choice. You're not going to be in your house dressing up with long sleeves. Do you know what I mean? So you're comfortable in your home and things like that. So she is correct in what she's saying. I totally agree with that.
Right. Modest fashion vision is for everyone. So this is the modern day age. Okay,
definitely.
So three of you agree with that. Okay. All right. So more on the digital fashion space. Since modest clothing is more on like there's a lot of investment into it, you really think that it's really sellable when you're looking at it, or do they just it's quite complicated because most consumers don't really want to wear a lot of stuff, if you know what I mean. So if you look in Instagram, for example, or website, that there's a lot of layers in it, do you think it's sellable, or do modest fashion brands need to have for example, less clothing, like for example, it's just a top and then there's a mini skirt, but there's no leggings, for it to be sellable first, but being a modest fashion brand as a title? So Chiara first, because Princess, you're a stylist. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I mean, I look a lot of young influencers or young girl dress with a lot of different layers, especially when they dress modest, because this way they can have a look that is more trendy or modern. That can remind a sort of not more aggressive look, but more, I don't know but
attractive,
still being
but lighter,
attractive, but
and carefree.
Yes, more like I will say not the international, cosmopolitan or underground look, but still being totally
Like
covered.
Yes.
So yeah.
Okay, Fazeela.
Sorry, what was the question?
So the question is, if you think that all right, let me rephrase it. So there's this model that is a bit carefree. She's not really that kind of modest fashion. Yes.
You speak on the layers.
Yes, the layers. Do you think it's more sellable it's more profitable if the person is more carefree by being a modest fashion brand, but the model's looking less covered, for example?
Look, if you are at the end of everything, whenever you make, when you make a decision on what the niche of your brand will be, it's important to stick to that niche so that people understand, if I want to wear something long, something covered, this is the brand I'm going to go to. If I want a mini skirt, that's the brand I'm going to go to. You know, you don't want to be the brand where you are sitting and someone comes to you, you saying you selling a certain thing, and you're actually not catering to those people. So what happens is they will come to you looking for a mini skirt. You don't have a mini skirt because you don't cater. Now, if you're going to have a brand where you are saying, I'm only a modest brand, you're going to have people coming to you only to purchase modest stuff. So that person's not going to come to you and expect you to have a mini skirt. Then you must sell them tights, and then you must piece these outfits together. You need to know what your brand stands for. When you know what your brand stands for, then you're going to grow your business in that way. You don't want to confuse your consumers as well. You know, you're going to go to a regular retailer. If somebody wants to go and purchase different outfits that they can layer together, you know that you can go to H&M and you can purchase a certain thing. You can go to Adidas and purchase the tights maybe from there. You can purchase a top from wherever it is, if that's what the consumer wants. But you as a brand need to know what you are, who your customers are, so that you know when they come to you, they know what they're going to expect from you as a brand. So with me, for example, I'm not going to sell something where you're going to need to put layers on, because that's not what my brand objective is.
Right. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So you'll go to another brand. Yeah, so you'll go to another brand who will cater to that. I think this is one of the problems that we have as businesses, in that we feel like everybody is our market. That's not true. You can never have a business where everyone's your market, because what happens is you have such a wide range when it comes to your market that you start losing the essence of your particular brand. Do you know what I mean? So it's important to know. So you can cater to people who dress modestly and those who don't dress modestly. You can have two sections of your business. Do you know what I mean? You can have a subsection where you have, remember, modesty is not a religious thing. It's a lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? People don't necessarily, yes, you won't only get a certain religion who's dressing modestly, but you get people who want to, some people look good dressing up, covered up. They feel comfortable that way. Someone else feels good wearing a halter neck dress, and they feel good with that. They are fine with that, and that's okay. So we should learn to accept that people are different, and also understand what your brand stands for. If you don't understand your brand, you're definitely not going to grow it as well. You need to know not everybody is your market. You need to select who is your target market, so that even when you are doing your ads, when you are with all of these things, marketing aspect, you know that this is the people, this is the group of people that I'm targeting, and they are going to be my customers. It's kind of just as simple as that. So having somebody who feels they want a layer, that's fine, but you need to know which brand you're going to go to purchase that clothing to layer on. So I think
that's actually the problem with all consumers, that so most of them complain or give feedback that it's not for them, even though it's branded as modest fashion. So there's a certain problem with differentiating your brand, for example, and the modest fashion brand, because it looks a bit different, because yours is just long sleeves and no layers, but Montayre is different, of course. And so
but what I want to know, the reason why I decided to evolve in a brand that can aim all women is that for me, as a brand with yes, a Burkini brand, but with an European touch, and so not exactly the same as probably the ones that you find in the market. When I was facing some stores in the hotel or e-commerce, or really a lot of places in Turkey, in the Gulf area, they were replying that they didn't want to have in their store something that was so connected with a religion. With a religion or with a culture, because
Yes.
they need to have an offer for any kind of person, and especially for tourists, and for them to have in store something with the connection of the religion was something not good.
Right.
And I was very surprised, because I say, okay, but so really there is only, you know, the modest with the traditional look, with the completely separate than the rest. But in the same hotel, there were even, I think, much more modest and Islamic culture people than the tourists, but they couldn't
Yeah.
find anything there. And so I say,
Right.
okay,
Sorry, we
but
have like 3 more minutes left.
Yeah.
Princess. So your brand is just styling, right? So what kind of scarves do you see from the day-to-day basis? The brands. Yeah.
The brands. For me, I'm not really after with the brands, honestly. I am after with the cloth,
Yeah.
what they use, and it depends also on what I wear. So with regards to my
Mhm.
clients, I always ask for a picture of their wedding gowns or even the dress before I visualize or I design what things that I needed to do, like to accessorize the hijab or the headscarf of the bride, or even or the Muslim woman who needs my services in hijab styling.
Right. So to be sustainable in your part is trying to have your brand like that,
Yeah.
the same hijab style, and make sure that it's neat, make sure that it's classical and flawless.
Actually, you know what? In styling your hijab, now it's like you're doing the makeup thing, but you need to contour also the face, because we have different shape of face. So if, for example, I have this round face, you need to contour the side of the face in order to. It's just same with how do people do their makeup. They need to do the contour thing to make this face slimmer. So same thing when you do the hijab, you need to contour the shape of your face just to have this slim face.
Of course. Yes. Yes, that is the target for every woman who wears the headscarf. Thank you for the panelists for bringing your insights on each of your respective brands. We'll see you next time on the next conference, hopefully, and seeing your brands in 2025, for example.
Thank you.
And you are helping designers all over the world to have a benchmark on what modest fashion is, and this conference is helping that achieve the goal. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. This is Aviana Hermawan.